Good evening. Thank you for joining us in another episode of Barbados Kingdom Government Initiative. We just want to remind you that this is a YouTube premiere. To all intents and purposes, it is live for the duration of the video. This means that you can ask questions and get answers from the presenter while the video is running. Of course, you can make comments anytime afterwards. Here is tonight's presenter, Dr. Alden D. Tull, who will continue to speak on the theme, Raising the Bar on Our Democracy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Barbados Kingdom Government's Initiative. Special welcome to those who are joining us from the Caribbean and further afield. We hope you find this program not only informative but inspiring, in that it motivates you to desire change in our system of government and equip you to be part of the change process. Last week in episode 1, we talked on the theme, Raising the Bar of Our Democracy. In episode 2 today, we're going to continue with that theme, and we're going to begin our discussion of solutions. It is very important that we focus our attention on solutions. As we argued in episode 1, no amount of complaining about the symptoms of a problem is going to fix the problem, because by definition, fixing a problem means finding and eliminating or treating the cause of the problem. With that in mind, we took a hard look at our present system of parliamentary democracy and came to the conclusion that it contains several flaws which allow politicians and political representatives to abuse the system and, by extension, abuse the trust of the people. Before we take a look at our first solution, let us quickly summarize the three major flaws or dysfunctions we found in our system of democracy. The first dysfunction we found was that the electorate has very little opportunity to participate in decision making during the 5-year life of the government. That means the electorate is effectively alienated from making inputs into the decision making process. The second dysfunction we found is that once authority, is delegated to parliamentary representatives in the polling booth, the people have little or no control over the representatives who, to all intents and purposes, become the bosses of the people rather than their highly paid servants. The third, and perhaps most serious dysfunction, is the potential for one party to win all 30 seats, as has happened twice in a row, by the way, in our country in 2018 and 2022. That potential exists because of the electoral system, which is called first past the post. We invite you to review last week's presentation to see how first past the post actually works. Okay, now on to solutions. The solutions to the problems in our system of democracy can be divided into two elements. The first set of solutions are aimed at the system itself, so we can call them system-wide solutions for convenience. The second set of solutions are aimed at the quality of individuals or the character of the representatives we elect. In this episode, we will look at the first of the system-wide solutions. The first system-wide change we need to embrace and institute is the power of recall. By this we mean a provision for a constituency to recall its representative if it is not satisfied with the performance of that elected representative. The logic of a provision for recall is that when representatives know that this provision exists, all other things being equal, they are less motivated to underperform on behalf of the constituents and or misbehave themselves. Now let's talk a little about how this will work. When that provision is applied, it means that there will be a by-election in that constituency. Currently, a by-election comes about only on two basic conditions. Number one, the death of the representative, or number two, if that representative resigns. The most recent case of resignation was in the St. James North constituency, where the incumbent Mr. Edmund Hinkson resigned to be available for a diplomatic posting in the UK. At least, so it was alleged. As you may remember in episode 1, we talked about the practice of direct democracy in Switzerland. It should not be surprising then to hear that the power of recall originated in that same country. In the description box of this video, you will find a number of references to matters such as power of recall, referendums, etc. Some states in the USA have a provision for recall in their constitution. California is one of those states. In 2021, the state pursued the recall of Governor Gavin Newsom. The recall vote failed, but the point is that the people were able to exercise their democratic right. The recall began basically as a petition for which a certain number of signatures is required. Once those signatures were obtained, the recall vote proceeded. When we come back in a moment, we will talk about how we might implement power of recall in Barbados.
Thank you so much for viewing our presentation so far. Here are a few things you can do to help follow us and help us grow the channel. Number 1. We would like to go live in the near future, but YouTube requires that we have a certain minimum number of subscribers. So go ahead and click that subscribe button now. When you are a subscriber to the channel, YouTube automatically sends you a notification whenever a new video is posted. Notification is not something we control ourselves. The system does it automatically. Just remember to turn on the notifications function on your desktop, tablet, or smartphone, because you won't see the message if you don't. That way, you do not have to depend on us to send you a WhatsApp notification. Number 2. Please like this video. When you do, the YouTube algorithm shows it to other users, and this helps our channel to grow. Number 3. But this is not just for videos. Most YouTube users do not know that you can post short articles or updates on a YouTube channel. But it is true. And we intend to make use of this facility immediately. But you can only access those articles if you are subscribed, which means you become part of our channel community. Again, the system will automatically send you a notification of these articles or updates if you are subscribed to the channel. So, go ahead and click that subscribe button now and help yourself, as well as help us to grow. Cheers.
Okay, any system of recall in Barbados is not going to work exactly like that in California, where the issue is whether or not to recall. Our recall vote would not be whether or not to remove the incumbent representative, but to replace the representative. That would mean that the representative against whom the vote is raised cannot be a candidate in the ensuing by-election. Not to have that provision would amount to a waste of time and resources. However, since it does require the use of time and resources, it is important that it is preceded by a petition that requires a number of signatures similar to the California model or some other mechanism. Once that threshold number is reached, a by-election will be triggered. Any idea can be implemented once enough time and thought is given to its mechanics. Of course, the power of recall is not a provision that we will use lightly or whimsically. But if we're going to have some real-time control of our representatives, it is a solution that needs more than passing attention. We just have to make up our minds whether such a provision is worth the time and effort it will take to implement. We must not let the work involved deter us from installing this provision if it will raise the bar on our system of democracy. Not being able to see fully right away how the provision will operate in practice is not a good enough reason to reject the idea. All the necessary details can be worked out in due time. So what do you think about this proposition, the power of recall? Do you think it is desirable? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for viewing.